If my life was a movie and there was a tagline on the poster, it would probably be, he watched a lot of movies. And that's probably what's going to be on my gravestone too. My name is Aaron Jackson, and I have seen a lot of movies. My current count is about 9,350 movies, and I hope to reach the lofty, not final, but ultimate goal of 10,000 in about 8 months or so. I've known about the 10,000 goal for a little while now. Originally, when I added up all of my totals, I did not expect to be as high as I was, and I found out that I was very, very close to 8,000. And so with that, I began a very public count. By public, I mean, of course, social media, Facebook and Twitter. I would say like, okay, movie 7,899, movie 7,900, movie 7,901, and so on. And I tried to make it kind of communal for the people who were interested. And 8,000 became a celebration, and then it just continued from there. Next thing you know, I was aiming for 9,000, and now here it is, and 10,000 is coming up pretty soon. It's going to be a good day. Movies have always been a part of my life, and some of my earliest memories are of movies, and according to my mother, The Empire Strikes Back was the first movie I ever saw in theaters. Given that I was born in June of 1980, I was probably really, really young, but I imagine she was impatient to see it because it's Empire Strikes Back. But the way it really all began for me, though, like this crazy obsession, is May 23rd, 1992. On May 23rd, 1992, I went to the movies by myself, like for real. My mother dropped me off, I had $10, and I saw 3 movies in a row. And $10 was enough for 3 movies back then. It was Encino Man, Alien 3, and Far and Away. And I loved it. Like, I talked to people. I remember there was this old couple who sat next to me in Far and Away in the front row because this was Memorial Day weekend that year. And they just started chatting with me, and I was this 11-year-old kid. I wasn't even 12 yet. And I was there at the movies by myself for the whole day, and it was fan-friggin-tastic. And it just sort of snowballed from there. Around April of 1990, so just before I was 10 years old, I had the idea, and I wish I knew why or where or what motivated me to do this. I don't know if somebody told me I should, or if I was making a top 20 for whatever reason, but for some reason, I took a notebook, and I started writing down every single movie when I saw it. So as I saw a movie, I'd write down the title, any notable actors, the rating, and the genre. And for the next 27 years, I have not stopped. So every single time I watch a movie, I write it down. And for one, of course, it's helped me keep an accurate count of my totals, but also it's just kind of fascinating because I love flipping through these things. And I'll see titles where, honestly, at this point, it's just like I have no idea what some of these movies are anymore.
And so like this one is May 95 to June of 1998. And the handwriting didn't get much better, but you can kind of see I just continue doing it. Like that. Empire Records, that's a good movie.
There are a lot of just really awful flicks, and I have a rule where any movie I start, I finish. Sometimes it takes a few starts and a few days, but really when it comes to this love of cinema and movies, really the only part that kind of drags, man, is the bad ones. And there are some really, really bad movies.
So The Truth About Cats and Dogs was my 1,250th movie, and that is not a good movie, but that's all right.
I finish them. I do every time, but you know, when you have a nice stack of movies that you really want to get through, one of them just sucks, man. It's killer.
Jack and Jill. Jesus Christ. Alright, so this, in this hunky-dory container, is a partial collection of my ticket stubs. So, let's see. Okay. So on top, of course, they're going to be the more recent ones, like The Crazies and Surrogates, which really was not very good. Oh, Boondock Saints. And let's see what else I got.
I started collecting my ticket stubs around 1992 or so. I have a few from before then. My oldest ones are Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and the original Tim Burton Batman movie. I like, every once in a while, I'll take them out, I'll look at them. It's fun to just sort of go through them and be surprised, like, oh, Jurassic Park, or a movie theater that doesn't exist anymore. Sadly, a lot of the stubs are fading now because of the ink or the cardstock. I'm not really sure why.
Wayne's World. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to have. It may sound strange, but I grew up in a daycare. My mom had her own business, and it was licensed, and it went for many, many years, all the way up until I was about 25. And so for the majority of my life, there were always kids around, 6 days a week, sometimes up to 24 hours a day. And of course, with any population of children, kids love movies. And we always had movies on, and Goonies and Gremlins and Monster Squad, like the real classics of the era. And I remember we would go to Valley West Mall or Gateway, the movie theaters of my early years, and I remember seeing DuckTales the movie, The Treasure of the Lost Lamp, with a big group of kids, or Super Mario Brothers, or The Rocketeer, and it was good. It was a good communal experience as a kid. I mean, who gets to go to the movies with a bunch of kids? I mean, every once in a while, maybe with your friends when you're in school, but when you're 8, 9 years old and you go to the movies with a bunch of other kids all having a good time. When I was about 19, there was one of our original daycare kids who was around, I guess, given the age difference, I think he was about 12 or so at the time. His mother had asked my mom to talk to him because he said that he was having suicidal thoughts. And since, I don't think he looked up to me, but I was one of the older people that he knew without being completely older. And so I was asked to talk to him. And I did, and I mean, what the hell does anyone say in that situation? As an adult, I don't know what to say, much less what would I say as a 19-year-old to a 12-year-old. And so the only advice that I had, I don't know if it was good advice or not, I said, always have a movie to look forward to. So if it's 4 months from now, the next Jurassic Park, or next James Bond, or whatnot, just have a movie to look forward to. And when it comes out, before it comes out, have another movie to look forward to. And they just give you something to hang on to. And I mean, I don't know what else I could have possibly said, but in my mind, that's the way I would have looked at it, because every time something big happens that's both good or bad, I always think of it in context of what movie was out at the time, what movie's coming out next that I want to see that I can't see with this person or that person. And so that's what I told them to do. Just always have a movie to look forward to. None of my friends really have an interest quite like this. I mean, everybody loves movies, and especially in my teenage years when I started driving high school and college. I rarely went to the movies alone. I rarely needed to, only because my friend Andy went to many of my mini marathons where we'd see 4 or even 5 movies on a Saturday, and we do group movies and stuff like that. But no one even approaches the level of movie going like me. Nobody I know cares that much at all. And as far as their movie counts, I mean, I would say they've slowed down as anyone else does as they reach their adult lives. But there's no way any of their counts anywhere near mine. No one watches movies the way I do, at least not in my circle of friends. All right, so I remember back when Jumanji came out. We brought the daycare kids here, and that was the weekend that this movie theater went from $3 to $3.50 per ticket. And I was 14 years old. I remember being really pissed about that. I went to buy, it was 20 tickets because a lot of kids, and they told me the price, and I made this face to my mom because it went up by 50 cents, which was a lot of money in 1994. But that was right here, from $3 to $3.50. Keep that in mind, okay? When you go and you spend I think it's $20.50 at some theaters in New York right now, and even here at night it's $15 in a couple of our theaters. $3.50, and I was upset about that. My mom would take me to the movies quite a lot, and this was one of the theaters. This was the theater, pretty much. It was the nicest one around for sure. And so we were here a lot, and my mom got suckered into a lot of bad movies because of me. And I've always felt a little bad about one particular incident, because she wanted to see this movie called Summersby with Richard Gere and Jodie Foster, and my friend Dustin and I wanted to see Leprechaun. And so we walked up back where the box office used to be, right there, and she bought her ticket for Summersby and our tickets for Leprechaun. And one of the only times we've ever had issues buying tickets ever, because I always looked a little older when I was younger. I don't know, but this one time they were like, no, kids can't go see Leprechaun without an adult. And so my poor mom had to go see Leprechaun with us. She didn't even sit next to us when we saw it. And I kind of wish that we had offered to go see Summersby with her, but I've always felt really bad because I know she didn't want to see Leprechaun. I mean, most people who want to see Leprechaun don't want to see Leprechaun. And that's always been a memory that I've always felt a little bad about. So I remember coming here with my friend Josh and his dad to see Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like, that's how long ago it was. And I remember this pillar, this actual pillar right here, the two of us trying to climb up on this. And I'm not going to do it to you now because I'm far too big. But we played right here. My ideal movie-going experience is first thing in the morning. Right when you wake up, no distractions, nothing on your mind. You just get up and you go. And you walk into that movie theater and you get the popcorn smells and you get those ambient sounds, and you may not be able to identify quite what they are, but you know what it sounds like. You know what a concession stand sounds like, and what a small crowd of people who are not necessarily tired, but they just woke up a few hours ago too, and it's early, and you're all just there to watch a movie, and just being in that atmosphere and being in that darkened theater and those huge four walls and the surround sound right off the bat. I love that because later in the day you're tired from work, from being hungry, from talking to people, this or that. And it's never the same. It's never the same as that early showtime. This is where I spent that first Saturday where I saw Encino Man, Far and Away, and Alien 3 all by myself, all in a row. And this is where my life literally changed. And it feels kind of silly to say that out loud. Like most people shouldn't be able to identify like the day that their life changed, but this was here. This is where it happened. In the late 90s is when the big boom of stadium seating happened. And so about 3 miles down the road, there was another AMC at the mall, Arrowhead, that opened with stadium seating, and it sort of was the death knell for this movie theater. It lasted for a little while longer, and in the late 90s, I heard that this theater was closing. And so the last movie I saw here was Scream 2. And I came here and I took a bunch of pictures because I love this movie theater, and I even tried to get the manager to let me unbolt a couple of the seats and take them with me. And I've always regretted that I didn't try a little harder, because I did the nice thing, like, oh, I understand, blah, blah, blah. But they're just gonna throw them all away. My love of Valley West is never gonna go away. I miss that place entirely. And I believe the last movie I ever saw there was Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which is a god-awful film. Like, not the good bad like Street Fighter, it's just bad. And my friend Aaron and I, we were going to try to see it 6 times in a row, like to test our cinematic stamina and see if we can make it through. We went to the first showing, and we both kind of looked at each other and said, no, we're not going back.
Where I met Aaron Jackson officially was a Project Ideal class. It was a special different class for kids that were deemed to be maybe a little bit smarter, maybe a little bit special, needed to be challenged in unique ways. So we would do different things like going to oceanography museums and just special kind of events like that, different types of learning.
Dude, that's unnatural. What is on that hot dog?
There's mustard, tomato, onion, relish, and I got squirt butter.
What makes it so green? Because relish isn't that color. Is that the St. Patrick's Day relish that's left over?
No, they dye it.
From St. Patrick's Day?
I don't think it should be anyone's goal in life to watch a certain amount of movies or to play a game or anything like that to a certain degree, to have that be your life's goal. But when you're already this far along, why not? Why not shoot for it? I don't think it started as an attempt to, set any sort of record or break any sort of record or make any sort of personal life goal out of it. Aaron just enjoys watching movies.
I still remember that.
That was like that was the time period where I really did see everything like that. Like
Yeah.
98 to 99, 2000-ish corridor. Like I saw everything.
Every single movie, right?
Every
And
single movie, man.
I actually recall an interview with Neve Campbell about Scream. She was accosted by a crazy fan who said that they had seen Scream 27 times in the theater. And her direct quote was, "I can't imagine anyone seeing any movie that amount of times in a theater." And Aaron did. And his friend Bob was right there with him for Independence Day.
I actually met Aaron the first day of school, and I was a senior and he was a freshman, and we were in journalism class together. And I actually heard Aaron shout at some point during that day that he's the movie man. I think our teacher must have said something about a film or something. And whenever I heard that, I looked over to him and I thought, okay, well, this guy sounds interesting. He's kind of loud and was talkative. And then I think the next thing I heard him say was he asked a girl if she spit or swallowed. So that kind of sums up Aaron in a nutshell from the day that I met him. So it was either a raunchy humor or talking about movies.
The movies that I have seen the most are Independence Day, I saw 29 times in theaters. Scream, the first one, the good one, I saw 17 times in theaters. Jurassic Park, I saw 10 times in theaters, which is noteworthy because when you are 13 and don't drive, that means I had to get people to take me to the movies every single time I wanted to see it. And I saw Star Wars Episode 1 12 times in theaters, and I didn't even like it that much the first time, and I liked it less the second time, but it became kind of a habit. And so I can say with those 4 movies that I went to the movies 68 times and only saw 4 different movies. So I saw Scream a lot of times in theaters, and my friend Bob and I cast every role in the movie as either me or him, and then this one girl we knew named Chrissy. So all 3 of us would play every character in the movie. And so we'd go and we'd watch it and just sort of recite the film, and it got a little silly, but it's fun. It's fun, yeah. Many of my early movie adventures were with my friend Bob. We saw Independence Day many of our 29 times for me and 31 times for him together. And we have a few traditions. One of them is every August 12th we see one movie in theaters 3 times in a row, the same movie. And it was to celebrate our stamina and our love of film. Plus, it's just kind of fun just to sit in the same theater, and when the cleaning crew comes in, you just go, no, I'm here for the next one. You know, it's just kind of fun. I still do it. Bob has a child now, so he doesn't really do that anymore. But we still have our other tradition, and both of these are going on for 21 years now. 21 years. I mean, how many people have a tradition that lasts 21 years?
In 1998, we tried to see every single movie that came out, whether it was art movies or mainstream films, and we saw a lot of them together, obviously, because every Friday night we try to hook up and try to see all the new releases for the day, or a couple of them anyway that night. And we did that the entire year. And if Aaron was about 250 and even 250, I think I was a little bit behind him. Like I said, maybe 210 to 220 I saw, but that was an amazing year. I've never been able to equal that and see that many movies in one year, but it was a goal we had. So our movie days together have had some interesting times, I guess you could say.
I was actually married for quite a while. I was with my now ex-wife for 10 years, and of course my movie-going habit existed far before her and continued during her. And her name was Stephanie. And one of the things she said to me very early on when we first met and started dating and such was that she was so impressed by my love of movies, because so few people find something that they love so early in life and hang on to it. It makes you feel good. It does. I mean, because movies were a part of my life, and then she was essentially the other half of my life, and it was a good feeling. And then of course years and years went on, and when the marriage ended 2 years after the divorce, so this is actually just a couple months ago, she told me that turns out she had found my love of movies kind of ridiculous and annoying. So, and apparently this was, a few years into the marriage or whatnot, and all that time I thought that she was happy that I had this passion. And even though the marriage had been over, like it sucks being told that something that you had thought was impressive to this person that you loved and spent 10 years with was actually annoying and ridiculous. And of course, I mean, I shouldn't take it personally, years after the divorce, but man, like, it just calls into question that period of good feelings to know that they didn't even really feel that way, and it's just a bummer. Like, it is a bummer. I mean, I would have liked to have held on to that one good thing. That would have been nice. No, I don't regret getting married because, like with movies, very few people set out to make a bad movie on purpose, but bad movies still happen. And same thing, like, obviously you go into a marriage with hope. You don't go into it thinking that it's going to go bad or whatnot. And especially, I mean, 10 years is a pretty good run, even though it still sucks that it ended. But no, I mean, I don't regret it. I mean, obviously, I went in with the best foot forward. So, I am the youngest of 3 children. I have an older brother named Isaac and an older sister named Elaine. Strangely, I have next to no movie memories with my brother. It's explained to me, because I kind of had to ask my mom about this. I was wondering myself. But apparently as he reached his teenage years, he sort of got into the punk lifestyle and stopped hanging out with us. And really, the only 2 memories I have of movies with him at all are The Rocketeer, when we took all the daycare kids, and I remember walking out of the movie through the parking lot at Westridge Mall and being all jazzed because I loved it, and my brother's just going, "That movie sucked." Whatever. That's Isaac for you. My dad did take me to a few movies, like he took me to see Ernest Scared Stupid, and he took me to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze. And it's strange that I think of this now, but when we saw Ninja Turtles 2, I remember in the opening sequence when the turtles are fighting a little gang at like a mall, and Michelangelo uses sausages as nunchucks. I remember feeling bad for my dad, and I was about 11 or 12 when Ninja Turtles 2 came out, and not many kids are introspective at that age, or really any ages, but I remember feeling bad for him. Like, that was the first time that I realized that my parents are people with their own opinions, and I knew that that movie was way too stupid for my dad. And it was very strange sitting there and feeling bad for him for watching Ninja Turtles 2, and because it was my fault he was there. Probably the biggest assumption people have about me is that I'm a loser. I mean, seriously, like, all I do is watch movies, and it sounds kind of sad, but honestly, I wonder what people do with their time. Like, what do other people do? Even at work, when I come in on a Monday and people ask, "Oh, how was your weekend?" Or, "Oh, I was gardening," or, "I worked in my garage," and I just wonder, what the hell do these people do all day? Like, if I didn't watch movies, I have no idea what I would do. I have no idea. I just don't understand how people pass the time. I went to ASU, Arizona State, and these are my two diplomas. I have one in history and one in German, which means that I can work retail. Yeah. The only real regret, maybe, is that with watching all these films, there's no denying that I'm consuming other people's creations instead of creating my own. In 1998, I was in an independent film called The Hands of a Madman, where I played the sidekick to the evil scientist.
I don't know, okay? All I do while I share the slab with them, and I have every right to be here, every right to keep you just hey, just tell us where he hangs out.
I had a script at Fox for all of about 10 seconds once when I was 19. It was a real-time zombie thriller before both real-time and zombies were a thing in pop culture. I was on The Guild, which is an awesome web series. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you check it out. It was an absolute blast. Like, I love The Guild to no end. I met some very good people. I'm still friends with a lot of those folks. And it was just an all-around blast. Like, I would do anything for those guys. And I kind of miss it. I wish it was still around. All right, so this is my media room, all my DVDs. I've actually gotten rid of probably boxes and boxes worth of movies the last year or two. I've been trying to get rid of some, but I still have a lot. So main sections, alpha by title, but then I have subsections of television, Asian and foreign cinema, as well as Jackie Chan, Troma, Kevin Smith, James Bond, and documentary, all up there as well. Animation is in the other room. I own a lot of movies. The movie that absolutely had the biggest impact on my life is Jurassic Park. I love that movie to no end, and I remember being so excited. I still have a magazine cutout of the ad for the movie on my wall right behind me. And the night before it came out, so Thursday night, June 10th, 1993, the movie theater at Metro Center, a mall out here which is sadly defunct, they were showing an advanced screening of it. And so nowadays, movies open Thursday night, and it's just normal. That's commonplace. But back then, that was not normal. But this movie, they knew it was going to be huge. And so my mom took me there. We got there about 5 hours early before the showtime started at 7. And I remember standing in line to buy tickets. I don't know if my mom was in the food court, if she was parking, but I had the money to buy the tickets, and there were 5 people in front of me. And I heard the person at the front ask how many tickets were left, and there were only about 11 left. And I was panicked with each person in front of me buying tickets. But I got there, I got my ticket. Dino Times, Jurassic Park. I don't know, it's pretty cool though. I can't necessarily say that I have a favorite director because there are so many, and a lot of them are doing some fantastic work. But if I had to pick one with maybe the best batting average, so to speak, that would be Steven Spielberg. The man knows what audiences want. And he's only made a couple bad ones, a few okay ones, and some of them were really the fault of other people. George Lucas! But man, he's made some solid flicks. He knows how to entertain, and I'll always respect that.
Yes, we are. Oh, you are here. That is exactly where we are. This was my old haunt. I miss Blockbuster.
In the span of about 2 years, Blockbuster went from 8,000 stores to practically none. I hear there are still a few, like in Vermont or something, that have licensed the name, but there is no Blockbuster corporate entity anymore. There is no Blockbuster chain anymore. And it didn't need to be that way, because when Redbox came around, the writing was on the wall. People would see that that was the newest, hippest, coolest, most successful way to distribute films, to rent films, until, of course, streaming, and now that has sort of taken control. I miss this place. They should have caught on along with the rest of the world, and they would still be here, and we'd still have video stores. Like, we don't have video stores anymore, and it sucks.
Do you ever think we'll have video stores again?
No. Streaming is the way it is nowadays. Physical media is going away. Right now, of course, Blu-ray and then 4K Blu-ray or UHD or whatnot is sort of the new trend. But I think next gen is going to be just completely digital media. I think physical media is going away, and I hate it. I love having a movie in my hands. I love being able to go somewhere and pick it up and shop for it. I hate the idea that I'm just going to own a movie downloaded on a piece of hardware. I hate that. I would like to have a kid. It'd be nice. I like the idea of teaching a little person to love movies, like introducing a 3-year-old to Steven Spielberg. Like, this is Jaws, assuming they can handle Jaws. You know, or Jurassic Park, assuming they can handle Jurassic Park. But I would love to make a little movie fan. That'd be fantastic.
I'm quite frankly very surprised and happy that he's being able to do this. I mean, I've never kept track of the movies that I've seen, so I'm very impressed that he has, and he actually knows approximately when he's going to reach 10,000. So yeah, I'm genuinely very impressed with that.
I'm not sure what this achievement is going to earn him, but I don't think it's about that for him. It's just about enjoying movies.
Hitting 10,000 will be a celebration. Like, I'm looking forward to it, and this is a fantastic experience. But you know what? The next day will be 10,001, and then 10,002, and then 10,003. I'm not stopping. When I met Jamie Lee Curtis all the way back in 1998, and I'm not gonna lie, she caught me looking at her cleavage, and it was awkward. Like, seriously, she paused. She looked at me and paused, and yeah, it was all right. So Lloyd Kaufman, Troma, love Troma. So to Tromaren, yeah. Please don't frame me. And I'm trying to make my own damn movie, Lloyd.